Okay, so as we spoke about the commanders, the units, we've talked about enough. Let's move on to the commanders, the spicy ones. So, I am playing the website as the video for this for this podcast. So we have Cao Cao right here in front of your eyes, then Guan Yu, and Zhang Fei. Yes, Zhang Fei. There we go. I remember the names. So yeah, we can assume that those three will be the starting commanders for China. And in terms of their roles in Three Kingdoms, let's start with a little bit background of Three Kingdoms. You have 5 types of commanders there. There's Sentinel, which leads melee infantry, as in swords and axes. You have Champion, which is a spear infantry general. A Strategist, which is a ranged general. Vanguard, which is shock cavalry general. And Commander, which is melee cavalry general. So, Cao Cao is a commander, so melee cavalry. Zhang Fei is vanguard, so shock cavalry. And Guan Yu is a champion, so spear infantry. Which kind of seems weird because you have 2 cavalry commanders and only 1 infantry commander. So unless the Chinese faction will also be heavily focused on cavalry, which I don't think they will get melee cavalry because just in Three Kingdoms they're like 2, 3, maybe 4 units. It depends on how you look at it. Of melee cavalry, where the shock cavalry, as we talked about it earlier, is much more prevalent in Three Kingdoms. So I would expect a shock cavalry tree, but not a melee cavalry tree. So then maybe Cao Cao would be, well, not a melee cavalry commander, but something else. What are your guys' thoughts about those 3 commanders specifically?
Personally, I would love if Cao Cao was a hybrid commander where he could be good at multiple unit types. As the strategist, I would think, he would be good with multiple unit types. Although one could also argue that his special unit in Three Kingdoms was a shock cavalry, but I don't know. That he'd just go back and forth all day on something like that.
So maybe something like Caesar with a support abilities, 3 support abilities. But then again, when I thought about Chinese faction, like way back into like even during wargaming games, right? So it was like when they're going to introduce a Chinese faction, I would obviously like to have them introduce it with Sun Tzu. Like, come on, Sun Tzu is by far the most famous Chinese general ever. He's like one of the best ever, most famous ever. And within China, he's by far the most recognizable one. So obviously you gotta have Sun Tzu, right? And then if you were to make a Sun Tzu a commander, I would imagine he would need to be similar to Caesar, what Caesar is. So 3 support abilities, be good at everything, just as Caesar is. So you can play Caesar essentially with any Roman unit. He's good at everything.
Yeah, just because he helps the people around him.
Yeah, like he's not going to be a better heavy infantry commander than Germanicus, but he still has, a very unique set of abilities that, you can absolutely make him work on melee infantry or cavalry. We had a very famous example from the tournament where there was an elephant duel, and one side just raised up his Caesar cavalry, applied divide and conquer, or Vichy at that point. And yeah, one of the elephants couldn't use any abilities. And the duel was clearly won by the side that could use abilities, even though Caesar haven't even fought them himself. So yeah, something like that for Sun Tzu. I really hope they're gonna introduce him, but
there's so much you could do.
He's not in Three Kingdoms, so maybe they're just gonna stick to what is known within the Total War community. But come on, who doesn't know Sun Tzu in Total War community?
I mean, I'd be hoping for quite a few Art of War references if they added Sun Tzu.
Yeah, I mean, we still have his descendants, right? We have Sun Jian, we have Sun Ce, his son, and Sun Ren, his daughter. I mean, Sun Jiang's, not Sun Tzu's. So we have 3 well-known representatives of the Sun dynasty family that are in Three Kingdoms game, and they're all really well recognizable legendary commanders within the game. Then again, in terms of the Vanguard Shock Cavalry category, we have Zhang Fei, which is right now on your screen. He's the Vanguard Shock Cavalry commander. We have SUNTZU, who is also a Vanguard, Sun Ren, and Lu Bu. I mean, if they were to do something like that for Arena, so if he's a Shock Cavalry commander in Three Kingdoms, then he's going to be a Shock Cavalry commander in Arena, that would obviously not work. Just straight up won't work. 3 different cavalry commanders for one faction. So if they want to have multiple of those famous legendary commanders from one category, like, they've got to have Lu Bu. Like, come on, he's also one of the most recognizable from the Three Kingdoms game, alongside Cao Cao and Sun Jian. Right, Sun Ren, also very popular. She has a lot of fans within the Three Kingdoms Total War community.